reported today in The Verge. Boeing's new Starliner spacecraft is in the wrong orbit during first trip to space. The first flight of Boeing's new passenger spacecraft, the CST-100 Starliner, did not go as planned this morning, after the vehicle failed to reach the right orbit when it launched to space. No people were on board the test flight. However, the failure calls into question the Starliner's future and how long it will take for the team to recover from the mishap. Updates from Boeing and NASA, which was helping to oversee the mission, have been sparse. Boeing says that Starliner is safe and stable, but it's unclear if the spacecraft will remain that way for the foreseeable future. The spacecraft currently is in a stable configuration while flight controllers are troubleshooting, NASA wrote in an update on its website. NASA says the vehicle can no longer reach the International Space Station, its planned destination. Boeing's CST-100 Starliner is a critical part of NASA's Commercial Crew Program, an initiative to develop private U.S. vehicles to transport astronauts to and from the International Space Station. Today's launch was meant to be a key flight for the Starliner as it demonstrated its capabilities to travel to space and dock with the station. If it had gone well, the mission could have paved the way for NASA astronauts to fly on the Starliner sometime next year. Now that timeline is in question. The trouble began about 30 minutes after the Starliner had launched. The capsule took off on top of an Atlas V rocket, made by the United Launch Alliance, at 6:36 a.m. ET from Cape Canaveral, Florida. The rocket seemed to work just fine, with the Atlas V successfully dropping off the Starliner where it needed to go. However, the Starliner did not perform as it was supposed to once it had separated from its ride. For most space launches, a rocket will take its payload all the way to Earth orbit, but that wasn't the case for this mission. The Atlas V deployed the Starliner into a suborbital path around Earth, a trajectory that would not keep the capsule lapping around Earth indefinitely. Unless it ignited its own engines boosting itself into an actual orbit, the Starliner would eventually fall back into the ocean. This plan was a conscious decision made by the Starliner team. The idea was to drop the capsule off closer to Earth, a safety measure added just in case there ever was an emergency on future flights with passengers on board. That would make it easier for the crew to abort the launch and come home more easily and more comfortably. Of course, getting Starliner to orbit meant the capsule absolutely had to ignite its own engines in order to climb higher into space. Initially, NASA and Boeing said that the ignition had been delayed and for a while it was uncertain if it occurred at all. Now, it seems that some kind of ignition did occur. For more on this story, visit the news article link.